Welcome back. This is still the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. We'll get to the touch screen in a bit. Daniel has a few things to show us. But let's just have a look at how the two teams made it here to the semi-final of the AFCON. Cameroon versus Egypt. They all got through different routes to get here. Egypt started with a 1-0 loss to Nigeria. Then they beat Guinea-Bissau 1-0. Then they beat Sudan 1-0. Then they edged Cote d'Ivoire 5-4 on penalties in the round of 16. And they beat Morocco by 2-1. The comeback win against their fellow North Africans by 2-1. The Cameroon, they've won all through. They beat Burkina Faso 2-1 in the opening game, thumped Ethiopia 4-1, drew 1-1 with Cape Verde. I said they won all through. Well, that was the game they dropped points. And then they beat Comoros by 2-1 on a day when I thought they would score 10 and 12 and 15. And then they were a bit too hot for the Gambia. They beat them by 2-0 in the quarter final. Suzu?
No, I think I'll take back my thing about telling Egypt to attack, because I've just realized they've only managed 4 goals the whole tournament.
So attacking really doesn't make sense.
I don't think that's their strength. Okay. Looking at it
Look
now.
at the numbers. All right, yeah. Daniel, you're on the touch now. I'm sure you've noticed a few things you want to highlight ahead of the semis.
Yeah, we know how Egypt will approach the game, and although Susu, I'm glad he's rescinded his plea to Carlos Queiroz for Egypt to attack. I think it would be wise to sit back and defend and remain as compact as possible. We all know what has happened in there.
But Daniel, with all these injuries where you are probably throwing on inexperienced centre backs, or you try a combination you probably have not tried in this competition, don't you get worried for the Egyptians?
No, defending is not a game plan that is structured on defending is not just about the back four. It has everybody engineered to play a part. Whereas if you decide to attack, then you are leaving much of the defensive responsibilities to the centre backs.
Right.
On the day when you lose the ball, and of course when you have players like Ikambi and Ngamalu and Abubakar up front who can always punish you. So I feel for Egypt it's going to be it should be a collective defensive effort. We know how Cameroon have set up throughout the competition. It's usually a 4-1-4-1. You have Umguet sitting right in front of the back four, and then we have Hongla, and you have a very good friend of mine in the
Zambo
Anguissa and the likes, all in and around the midfield area, causing problems for opposition. You also have, and this is where I think the danger for Cameroon lies, the combination between Ngamalu and Colin Fai. They are, if you've watched the way they
down
play,
the right.
they usually go down the right. And that's where the problem will be. Because once the ball comes to this side, you usually see Toko Ekambi making that run in there. So it sort of becomes like a 4-4-2 Hongla, very narrow 4-4-2 Hongla and Zambo Anguissa, and it becomes almost like this. So Hongla goes out wide now. Umguit pushes up a bit with Zambo Anguissa, and then you have Ngamelu swinging in the crosses for Abubakar and Ikambi to feast on. Remember that Fatu is a left back. He's had to play centre back in the last game. We saw him in the last game coming on for. In fact, it was Trezeguet who replaced the injured Hegazi. So what happened was Ashraf, who was playing on the left side of the midfield three, dropped back to left back, and Fatu had to go into centre back with Abdul Mumin, who is also a right back. So they have 2 full backs playing as centre back, and then Kamal, who started the competition as their third choice right back, is now playing at right back. So just to show you how interesting the mix is for Egypt and how much they will be missing their main defensive names in there.
Do you know how tall these right backs who are playing in centre back are?
They are not. That's why I'm getting there. Now, remember in the game against Gambia, Cameroon's game against Gambia, I stressed on the importance of the Gambians stopping the crosses. Yeah. I think it's going to be even more important for Egypt in this game, because I feel the Cameroonians are, and when I say this, I don't say it to look down on the attacking threat in this competition. I feel when the ball is on the ground, they're a bit easy to deal with defensively. It's easy to block them off. That's why they usually go out wide. When they can't find spaces in the middle, they tend to go out wide, and that's what we saw against Ethiopia. We saw it against Gambia. Of course, it didn't happen against Comoros because they're facing like a third choice Comoros team. but it's more likely to happen in this game because the Egyptians are going to be very compact. And that's why we need the likes of Trezeguet and Solia doing a lot of defensive work. They will need to close down those areas for Egypt. And then it will also be very important in this. I will not be surprised if he drops into that back four, almost making it a back three with two wing backs to be able to stop the cross. And I think that's what Egypt should do. And then he should drop into that back three as and when it is necessary for Kamal and Ashraf to be playing as sort of wing backs, but very defensive wing backs, so that they're able to stop the threat of the double team of Ngamelo and Fai down the right-hand side. Tolo himself has been quite good in the competition. He was responsible for Toko Ekambi's second goal against Gambia, so they can Cameroon can use that as an outlet going out to the left-hand side. But what we've seen throughout the competition is like they usually rely on that right-hand side. That has been a huge source of their goals. If you look at Ngamelo, he's already created 6 chances throughout this competition. Colin Fai has 3 assists already as a right back. So it shows you the creativity they have down the right-hand side. Just to illustrate something for you. In fact, we always need video evidence so that what you are saying is not lost in thought. This is Colin Fai against Ethiopia. Getting Cameroon the equalizer across to Toko Ekambi, who made that darting run from the left-hand side into the box just to add the numbers in the box. This is an opportunity made by Colin Fai against Gambia. First one, Abubakar missed it. This was the goal in which Toko Ekambi scored. This one came from Colin Fai, once again from the right-hand side. And you see he and Ngamelu there just to double up. You don't necessarily know who is going to score the goal, in fact, who's going to deliver the cross. And they both have such incredible technique that you are almost certain that the cross will be dangerous. This is also the threat of Colin Fai. Gambia decided to go high. Colin Fai is found in behind, and with a better composure, he could easily have put the ball in the back of the net. But that threat down the Cameroonian right-hand side is something that... so if you allow the crosses to come in, they are almost certainly going to punish you with the aerial threat of Toko Ekambi and Abubakar. If you're able to stop the crosses, which I more than believe Egypt will be able to do, I feel they can push this game into extra time and maybe even penalties or even win it, because you have Mohamed Salah. He's just one good pass or one half chance away from getting you the goal. And that is how important the game plan will be. I feel if you force Cameroon into the middle, in as much as Zambo and Gisa can do something, he's dangerous. We all know his qualities. It's easier to defend from the middle for the Egyptians. We've seen them throughout the competition do very well in stopping their opposition. Another player who's going to be very important for them is Mohamed. We saw him in that game against Morocco. He worked his socks off in the game. I think he was one of the main reasons why Mohamed Salah had such a good game. We saw him dropping deep into all sorts of positions. He was down the right-hand side, down the left-hand side helping Ashraf. When Hegazi came off, he was in the middle helping Solia and Trezeguet in the latter embers of the game. So he's going to be very important. Although you see him starting up front, I don't think that will be where we'll see him. Or after the game, when you look at his heat map, I don't think you see him concentrated at the apex of the pitch. I think he'll do a lot more defensive work, running around, winning back loose balls, and then that threat of Mohamed Salah. We've seen Cameroon have a very porous defense this competition. The only game they didn't concede was against Gambia. They conceded against Ethiopia, they conceded against Comoros, they conceded against Cape Verde and Burkina Faso. They are not the best defensive team. So I feel if Egypt can hold them for as long as possible. The Egyptians have also shown that they have the individual players who can create opportunities. Trezeguet, when he comes on, is dangerous. And when he decides to make the right decisions, Mohamed Salah, the best player on the competition. And I'm going to say it again. He just needs half a chance. You can just boot the ball in the air. Salah against 2-3, he can handle it. Once you have a player like that on the pitch, there's always a threat and there's always a chance that you can be able to score the goal. But the main thing for Egypt is keep Cameroon out. And what will be more telling on the day, in fact, tonight's game will be the crosses. Keep the crosses out, and I think they are 67% through keeping the Cameroonians out.
Interesting stuff there, Susu.
I think it's very interesting we're talking about Egypt as the underdogs, because we know they are there. No, not to say that they are not a good team, but we see Egypt 7-time winners. It just shows how good Cameroon have been, because I think they've kept the ball. I think they've surprised a lot of people in the sense that they expected Cameroon to do well. But I think of the teams to the, uninitiated observer, they've been the best team because they are scoring the most. But there's a lot more going on. And I think that's why Egypt are so dangerous, because I think if the Cameroonians, who've been able to score in every game, don't score today, it takes a long time for them to get their breakthrough.
Okay.
They might lose their composure. They might start, rushing shots, making the wrong decision in desperation. So if they are able to hold out for a long period of time, I think the game starts to favor them. I don't think this is a situation where if you knock on the door enough times, it will eventually break. I think this is the type of situation where, as the person is knocking on the door, they are getting tired and they are forgetting what they are doing. So I think DK is right. If the Egyptians are able to keep compact, stop the crosses, because we know Abubakar is a big fellow. If he's playing against 2 fullbacks, he and Toko can be a very 2 large fellows. Yeah. They are going to lick their lips. These get a 5'10" fullback, and you are about 6'3", and you can even jump higher than him. I mean, you are just thinking to yourself, just put in there. So
let's keep crossing.
It's very important that they stop the crosses, but I don't know how they will be able to do that, because when you look at all the injuries and stuff, even the fact they don't have their first choice fullbacks, I don't think Egypt are going to win this game. I think this is a Cameroon win, but funnily enough, the spreadsheet says Egypt, so let's see how it goes.
Nathan, just to quickly add to what Suso has said, we've seen Fatou have back-to-back brilliant games. Against Cote d'Ivoire, he was excellent. He kept Pepe quiet the entire game. And against Morocco too, he did a very good job with Hakimi down the right-hand side. My problem with him is over-enthusiasm sometimes, and we saw it in the penalty decision. His decision to throw himself on the ground and try and stop the cross from Cameroon.
The penalty against Morocco.
Yes.
That was Ashraf.
That was Ashraf, yes. And Ashraf is playing at left-back this time.
I think Fatou is injured, right?
Fatou was a doubt because he picked up an injury but saw off the Morocco game, but he's been passed fit to play this one. So we are sure that he will be in the starting lineup. And that's where my fear is, because it's 2 left back playing, one playing centre back, one playing left back. And of course, when there's a threat down the right hand side like in Gamelo and Faye, you might be tempted to throw yourself on the floor. I think stay on your feet at all times. That will be the instruction. You don't need to throw yourself on the ground or commit to be able to stop in crosses. Do not make silly tackles in and around the box, because the Cameroonians also have the technical quality to hurt you from set pieces. We've seen Zambo and Gisa, Gamelo himself, who is fantastic on set pieces. And once you commit a foul around an area where they can swing in the ball, you are almost on your way to conceding the goal.
So it would mean, just on a final note, that Mohamed Salah would have to be very efficient today with the ball, because if the Cameroonians are dominating possession, he won't get a lot of it.
He won't get a lot of it, and he also not have a lot of support up front.
Okay.
Because
so he has a lot on his hands.
Defensive responsibilities.
He has a lot on his hands. It means that some of the Ramadan, Sobi and Co, and other guys will have to contribute their bits, especially on the defensive side, and then see how Egypt handle this. It will be fun seeing Carlos Queiroz put in this situation. We know that he loves to organize his team to be hard to beat. Let's see what he will do in terms of hoping to get the Cameroonians to be frustrated as they try to break them down. Let me read this one. This message is from Richmond from Hoho. It says, Cameroon win by 3-1. Ezekiel from Nigeria says, greetings to you guys. You are doing a wonderful job. And this one is talking about the U.S. making strides in football development. He says the U.S. have got players at Dortmund, Barca, Juventus, RB Leipzig, Chelsea, PSV, Wolfsburg, and others. He wants the GFA to appoint Lucien Favre so he can develop the next generation. And Daniel says, there's something in the message for you. The person says, my sister likes Daniel so much.
Hey, maybe that's Natalia.
I don't even know him. It's here. It says, my sister likes Daniel so much. Can he give us a 360?
Sorry.
Can I say something to the USA fellow? I mean, the USA with their 300 million people, I think it's a larger talent pool. We are competing with about 32 million. And they are here losing to Canada with a population of about 35-40 million. So I don't think their talent pool is as impressive. If small Canada, who are a hockey-playing country, are beating them. I'm just saying.
This one, Collins from Mataiko Afenia says, sitting back would be the best approach, like Daniel said, because in the latter part of the game against Morocco, when Hegazi and the goalkeeper got injured, the midfielders helped protect the back four, and they replaced their goalkeeper as well. So I think El Neni and the others will be able to keep Cameroon at bay. Okay, that's Collins from Mataiko Afenia. And We'll be wrapping it up now. That's our show for today. Many thanks for watching. My name is Nathan Kwar. Daniel Cranting and Susu Graham joined me. We'll be back tomorrow to go over the semi-final. Which way it goes, we don't know, but we'll be back here to talk about it. Will we get Senegal, Cameroon, or Senegal, Egypt? Nobody knows, and we'll find all of that out tonight as that second semi-final is played in Yaoundé. Thank you for watching. We are back tomorrow with more. This has been the AFCON Daily Show. Many thanks to the production team, lights, camera, sound, those who produce, directors, everybody. We appreciate the support. We are back tomorrow with another episode. Do enjoy the rest of your day and keep watching Citi TV.